You're about to go home and hug your dog. Maybe it's the first thing you do when you walk through the door. Drop to their level, wrap your arms around them, hold them close. Feels like love, doesn't it? The purest, simplest expression of how much you care about your dog. But here's what science has found, and I want you to hear this carefully. That hug, that specific gesture that means everything to you, is one of the most misunderstood interactions in the human-canine relationship. Not because your dog doesn't love you, they do, but what a hug means to you and what it means to your dog are two entirely different things. And the gap between those two meanings is where something quietly goes wrong every single day in millions of homes around the world. By the end of this video, you'll never hug your dog the same way again, and your dog will be better for it. Number 1. What your arms mean to a dog. The shape of a hug is, in dog language, a dominance signal. In canine communication, placing a limb or body over another animal is a direct assertion of social status. It's how a more dominant animal communicates hierarchy. The animal on top is in control. The animal who accepts the weight yields. Dr. Stanley Coren, a neuropsychologist and dog behaviour researcher at the University of British Columbia, analysed 250 photographs of people hugging their dogs. These stats are quite scary. In over 80% of the photographs, the dog was showing at least one clear stress signal: turned head, whale eye, flattened ears, lip licking, closed mouth, where a relaxed, open mouth would be expected. Now, these weren't dogs being hugged by strangers. These were family dogs, held by the people they loved most, in moments their owners believed were positive. But the dogs were telling a completely different story. The hug feels like love because, for us, it is. We're a heart-to-heart species. Our primate brains evolved to give and receive embrace as a primary bonding mechanism. But dogs evolved something else entirely. And when our two evolutionary languages meet in that embrace, only one of us is speaking and the other is enduring. But how do you know if your dog is enduring your hugs? There's a signal that happens in the first half second of every hug, and it's so subtle that almost no owner ever catches it until now. Number 2, the freeze you never noticed. Your dog has been showing you how they feel about hugs for years, but their signal is so quick that almost no one sees it. It happens the moment your arms go around them. Before the lick, before the wiggle, before whatever comes next, there's a micro freeze, a fraction of a second, where your dog's body goes completely still. Breathing pauses and every muscle holds. It's the same stillness that a dog uses when they're at the end of their threshold and have no remaining options. It's a rapid, involuntary assessment. Can I move? Should I move? What happens if I move? Most owners miss it because they're in the middle of the hug and they think everything's just honky-dory. And then the dog starts to wriggle or lick, and the owner takes that as confirmation that everything's fine. Applied animal behaviourist Dr. Patricia McConnell is precise about what that wriggle often means. Dogs who are stressed and constrained will frequently redirect into licking and nudging, not as an expression of happiness, but as a displacement behaviour designed to de-escalate a situation they can't escape from. Your dog licks your face when you hug them, not always because it feels good, but often because they've learned that licking your face makes you let go. Still, this isn't true of every dog. Some generally don't mind being hugged, and understanding why changes everything about how you approach physical contact with your own dog. Number 3, the dogs who don't mind hugs. Some dogs genuinely are okay with hugging, and why they're okay with it is the most important thing I'm going to tell you. My young dog Lily initiates a cuddle by putting her head on my chest and then leaning back for me to hold her and rub her tummy. My elderly dog Luna isn't so keen, but every now and again she'll ask for a hug. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest found the dog's response to physical restraint is shaped by 3 things: early handling experience, individual temperament, and most significantly, the specific human involved. Dogs handled gently from puppyhood and dogs with a secure, trusting bond with their owner show measurably lower stress responses to being held. Not because hugging is natural to them, but because the relationship is safe enough that they can tolerate it without their nervous system going on alert. In other words, the dogs who are okay with hugging are okay because of everything that came before the hug, because trust was built slowly, consistently, and never violated. This isn't about never touching your dog, never hugging your dog. It's about understanding the physical closeness that feels good to your dog is built from the ground up. And there's a simple 3-second way to know exactly where your dog stands. Number 4, how to ask your dog. There's a science-backed way to know exactly how your dog feels about physical contact. Almost no one uses it, and it takes about 3 seconds. It's called the consent test. When you're patting or holding your dog, stop for a moment, remove your hands, sit back and wait. What does your dog do? A dog who's genuinely enjoying the contact moves towards you. They'll nudge your hand, press against you, close the gap that you just created. They're voting with their body to continue. A dog who was tolerating the contact stays still or moves away quietly without drama. They're voting too. Dr. Zazie Todd, an animal psychologist whose work on evidence-based dog welfare has reached millions of readers, describes this as handing the decision to the dog. What the dog decides freely, without any pressure, is the truth about how they feel. Try it tonight. Watch carefully, and whatever your dog tells you, believe them. So, if the hug isn't the answer, what is? What does physical closeness actually look like when it genuinely works for your dog? The research points to something simpler than you'd expect, and it feels just as loving, but in a different way. Number 5, what to do instead. The physical contact that makes your dog feel good, that actually lowers their stress and deepens the bond, looks different from a hug, but it works better than any hug ever could. Research on positive human-canine contact points consistently to the same interactions. A slow stroke from shoulder to flank, moving with the fur. Gentle scratching behind the ears or at the base of the tail. Sitting on the floor beside your dog and letting them position themselves however they want. Resting a hand on their side and leaving it still, letting them feel the warmth of it without the constraint of being held. Dr. Mia Cobb, a researcher in animal welfare science at the University of Melbourne, found that the physical interactions dogs return to most reliably are slow, pressure-free, and initiated on the dog's terms. The human as a warm, steady, available presence, not a compressive force, however loving. What this kind of contact produces in your dog isn't tolerance. It's a psychological state that looks, on every measurable level, like the thing we were trying to create with the hug: lowered heart rate, reduced cortisol, and elevated oxytocin. It's a nervous system that has fully, completely let go. The dog on their back, belly exposed, pressed against your leg, completely gone. That dog isn't being patient. They aren't performing contentment. They're genuinely, measurably, biologically at peace. And that's what love feels like to a dog, not the hug. And now you have a choice that you didn't have before. You can still be close. You can still give your dog everything that you've always wanted to give them in that moment. But now you'll watch for a moment. You'll feel for the freeze and notice whether they lean in or pull away by even just a millimetre. If you stop, if you sit on the floor and let your dog come to you, you might find that your dog does something they've always wanted to do, but were never quite given the space to. They'll choose you, freely, on their own terms. That choice, made without any pressure, without any arms around them, means something that no hug ever could. And isn't that what you're always looking for? You just had to learn to let your dog give it. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this content, please subscribe for more. I'm Jan, a dog behaviourist since 2012, who is as passionate about dogs now as I was as a toddler when I first discovered the joy of spending time with a dog.